Right now, I am at the Gettysburg Museum of History in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. And in some of the past episodes of American Artifact, we've looked at some of the American gear from World War II. We've also looked at some of the German gear. In some cases, we've looked at some of the things that the Japanese had in World War II. Well, in this episode, we're kind of dialing in and getting specific and looking at some of the headgear, some of the cloth headgear of the Germans in the Second World War.
On a previous episode of American Artifact, we went over some basic types of German steel helmets from World War II. And on this episode, I'm going to show you a few examples of German cloth headgear. And again, this isn't a complete study. This is just pulling a few of the basic examples out of our archive and out of our museum and quickly going through to give you a basic idea of some of the different types of headgear. We're going to start over here. This is an SA kepi. This would have been worn by the early brown shirts that you see in the films, and you know, this is the early Nazi Party enlisted kepi. This is a really nice example. This is actually as close to mint as you can probably get. These are usually in terrible condition because of the way that, you know, they're a soft cap, but they get smashed. And this one actually has an RZM tag inside, which is great that it's still in there. Sometimes they get torn out, but this is a really clean, minty example. We'll go over here. This is the early style political leader's hat. This is a Nazi Party political leader, and this is in the form of a visor cap. And this is, like I said, the earlier style. They later came out with this style. This has the 1939 style eagle on it. And this is what you would see being worn by political leaders. They called them the golden pheasants, and this one actually has a name inside, which is great. Pretty good condition. You see these a lot. These are a fairly common bring back hat. You see them in veterans groups. So this is a visor hat for one of the veterans groups. You know, this would have been a veteran of World War I. They had veterans associations, and they were militarized and had uniforms like everything else in the Nazi Party.
Shifting focus now from the headgear of the political leaders to the headgear of what the guys in the Wehrmacht would have worn. So what we were looking at right here is an Army Panzer visor hat. So the reason that we know that this is from somebody who was in the Army Panzer division is this pink piping that is on the side. So the medical personnel would have been dark blue. There were different colors for each of them. This right here is an infantry crusher hat that would have been worn by an officer. This hat right here is one that would have been worn by a general. And then whenever you get down to like the enlisted men, well, here is an overseas hat, and if we look here, you can see it's got the Luftwaffe eagle on it. And then this one right here, well, we can look and see it's got a little bit different design. This would have been worn by somebody who was in the coastal artillery.
What we have here is a Waffen SS officer's visor hat. This is a really nice hat. It's in great condition, and you know, the SS officer hats are quite valuable and quite desirable in the collector's market. Here you have an SS M43 cap with a mountain troop flower on the side, and this is SS officer M43 hat, and this has the later style skull, the trapezoid design. This is a later war version. And this curious looking hat over here is a fez that was actually used. The Waffen-SS actually raised a division of Bosnian Muslims to fight alongside them, and they wore this curious piece of headgear right here, actually a fez with the SS skull and eagle.
All right, well, that was just a little bit on some of the soft headgear that the Germans had in World War II. And as we've said in other videos, just because we study these things, just because we have these things in a museum, doesn't mean that we sign off on this evil ideology and what they stood for. But it allows us to better understand them so that we can better understand the history. But yeah, those are just some of the things out of the archives right here at the Gettysburg Museum of History.